Next time we go to brunch, girl, I got you. I'm buying you a drink. Whatever. I'm that person who does that until it's not reciprocated. Once it's not reciprocated, baby, I'm good. You can wait for that drink if you want to, but baby, you're gonna be parched.
These are dream rules. This is someone else. I'm not myself. No.
Hey ladies, happy Sunday evening. I'm preparing some snacks. I'm not really in meal prep mood right now, but I tell you what I have been in the mood for is a ton of snacks. So I'm trying to curb some of that by eating fruit, which means I need to prep them, wash them, and all that jazz. So let's do that. I'm just swishing the strawberries, blueberries, and blackberries that I picked up in a little vinegar water. We'll strain it and then cut it up just a little bit, putting it in separate containers. I don't know what they do differently in the stores when they freeze theirs, but when I freeze mine, they don't come out so great. I try to dry them and everything. It must be a secret that I just don't know, other than putting some kind of preservative on them. If you know the secret, get at me. I did not do much this Valentine weekend at all. Don't have a Valentine other than myself. Don't have a prospect, and I'm okay with that. I do love blackberries. Mostly in my compost for syrups. I don't know how much of this fruit's gonna make it. Till later. So good. I gotta say, life has been pretty good. If I'm being honest, part of the reason I'm not meal prepping tonight is because I have a little food already in the refrigerator. And tomorrow, we're usually out for President's Day, but we gotta make up one of the snow days that we have, which was unexpected. We work tomorrow, which is probably a good thing because that's gonna give me time to prepare some AMI packets for the upcoming inclement weather. It's supposed to be like negative degrees for I think the rest of the week. Well, I'll take that back. One day it's gonna warm up enough to snow. And we're supposed to get like half a dozen or so inches of snow. It ain't looking like we have in school next week. That being said, since I've already got a little bit of food still in the fridge, I'll eat that for lunch. And then I expect to be out, so I'll meal prep later. And I don't feel like it right now. I'm not going to cook stuff, but I am going to prep my veggies. I like to prep them and freeze them, and then add them to whatever other fruits I'm going to cook later. So we'll just drain it like so. Doesn't it look good already? It just looks so yummy to me. Maybe that'll keep me about that candy. It's just a maybe. Okay, we gotta try one strawberry right now. One good thing about Valentine's Day, they always got a surplus of strawberries. Big and juicy too.
Love's for beginners, ain't no winners. It slips through your fingers, I ain't telling no lies. So F all the drama, F the karma. Just do what you wanna, promise you got time. Be you and keep looking forward. Don't you look backwards and you'll be fine. Come through and say what you need to. Don't let them put you down. Baby, let me tell you what it feels like. Being independent, no trouble inside. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Let me tell you what it feels like. Being whose mama, yeah, treat yourself right. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Come get your future, know you wanna. She'll never betray ya, she ain't telling no lies. So break the glass ceiling, find your meaning, make truth out of dreaming, yeah. Baby, let me tell you what it feels like. Being independent, no trouble inside. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Let me tell you what it feels like. Being whose mama, yeah, treat yourself right. to. Don't let them put you down. Baby, let me tell you what it feels like. Being independent, no trouble inside. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. 'Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Let me tell you what it feels like. Being no one's mama, yeah, treat yourself right. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. 'Cause baby, you deserve the best in life.
As usual, I'm getting ready to set my hair for the week. I've already put some moisturizer on it. It's probably about 75% dry right now, hence the, what are we gonna call this, the Frederick Douglass look. I mean, it's Black History Month, but come on, we know. Let's spray this down. Tonight's drink of choice, not that I drink every night when I'm doing my hair, but I've got my zero sugar lemonade and I put some strawberry syrup in it. So it's strawberry lemonade for tonight. Let's brush the edges. Oof. Anywho, I hope you all are having a good week. Mine is going pretty well. I'm not complaining at all. We've had a couple of days out for snow. Well, I should just say inclement weather because it's been below zero temperatures. Why do I always forget something when I get started?
Low here in KC, as I mentioned, for most of us, between about -4 to -12
Ooh,
for
all right.
actual temperatures tomorrow morning.
Got the hair clip, here we go. All right, but yeah, so I've been out of school for a little bit this week. But the funny thing is, on Monday we actually had school. And I ended up seeing an old classmate of mine. She was subbing. And it was the strangest thing. I recognized her as soon as I looked at her, but for some reason she did not recognize me. We grew up in the same neighborhood and everything. Now I forgot my comb. Talk about ill-prepared. But anyway, yeah, so I ended up running into a classmate. She was subbing, and she was subbing right across the hall from me. She asked me a couple of questions, and she was like, look at God, how is it that I end up being right across the hall from you? That's fate. And she asked me whatever she asked me, I can't even remember, and I helped her with it. And so, you know, that's why she was saying, look at God. All right, cool. So we can't really talk because I didn't see her until just before the kids were arriving. And so it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, we'll have to pick it up and talk later. I think I'm going to keep setting at the smalls. I snipped off a little bit of my hair. But anyway, we were like, yeah, we'll have to try to catch up later. We didn't have the same lunch schedule, break schedule, none of that. And so she was like, yeah, I'm going to get your number. She said, I'm going to get your number. And, you know, so we can keep in touch and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Bear in mind now, I can't remember why she and I became distant. I don't know if it was college. I said classmate, but I mean, I guess we were really just schoolmates because she was a couple of years ahead of me. And I feel like she must have gone off to college. And, you know, we must have just lost touch in that way. One thing I do remember, though, fun thing, is when she was in college, most of my friends were older than me. So she had gone off to college. I would still go up and visit, and lemonade is delicious. I'll never forget she had a Chevy Nova. And the Chevy Nova had holes in the floorboard. Like you could Fred Flintstone put your feet on the road. And so when we were riding, we had to open our legs to avoid the hole in the middle as we were riding along. I had not thought about that in years. And I just remembered that. But anyway, yeah, I think we just lost touch because, you know, we graduated different years. She was in college, I was still in high school. And, you know, things just progress as they normally do with us moving apart from each other. And then we just never really kept in touch. So she ends up telling me that the brother of another friend of ours had passed away. And I was like, yeah, I'd heard about it, but I heard about it later. And I didn't know where she lived. You know, I'd also lost touch with the other friend, and I didn't know where she was in order to send her a card. And she said, oh, she's living in her mom's house, so I'll be giving her a card, now that I know that. But all of that to say, it got me thinking about how I have lost touch with many of my old high school friends. And I don't mean we were kind of like your average friends. In my opinion, we were true blue friends, and we just ended up losing touch due to different grades. That's what I thought then. But as I got to thinking about it more, I started realizing that losing friends, I guess, is just a natural part of life. If you would have asked me back then in middle school and high school, what would we be doing at our ages now, I would have told you we'd still be thick as thieves. Like, that friendship would have gone nowhere. And so, for whatever reason, it put me in a really reflective mood. Like, what happened? Oh, let me finish telling you the story. So I see her. She was like, I want to get your number. That's what she said to me. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was cool with, hey, you had a question or two. I helped you out. Boom, done. But she specifically said she wanted my number to get in touch. I ended up running into her because she was only doing a half-day sub. And so the teacher that was supposed to show up for his class was going to be late because the workshop was late. So they had asked her to stay over. Had they not asked her to stay for an extended period, I wouldn't have run into her again in the hallway. As it happens, I did run into her again in the hall. So I was like, hey, oh, okay, I thought you were gone. I thought it was just a half-day assignment. She said, oh, yeah, it was, but they needed me to stay later. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, here I was thinking you were gone. I would just lose touch and, that would be that. And she said, oh, yeah. Yeah, let me go ahead and get your number. And it sounded very much like do me a favor-ish. And I even told her, I'm not an aggressive person, but I'm also not big on BSing. And so when she said that, I was like, girl, no, because if you were ready to leave before without getting the number, and they had caught her in the office and said, can you stay over? And so I said, if you were ready to leave before without getting my number and they caught you in the office, and that's why I'm running into you now, girl, you're not going to use that number. And she, oh, yeah, I am. Give me your number. What's your number? So I just rattled it off to her, thinking, girl, what? And so anyway, I give her the number. It is now days later. You think I've heard from her? Do you think I expected to hear from her? That would be another And I just wondered, like, what makes people do that phony type of stuff? Like, I want to tell her so bad. Don't be freaking weird. That's odd to me. I don't do it personally. If I tell you a thing, it's a thing. If I tell you it ain't a thing, it really just ain't a thing. You'd be hard pressed to talk me into it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm calling it 6 o'clock straight up and down. Or, and here's another thing that I'm really gifted about. I can just keep my mouth shut. I knew I wasn't saying, I'm going to call you, I'll text you, give me your... I didn't say any of that. Because it didn't even feel genuine. And that to me that's just, no, thank you. If it's not real, if it's not legit, if you got to force it, fake it, and all that other stuff, no, thank you. I've seen too many women with those fake and forced friendships. It's the ones where, and this isn't to say that's true of all of them, but I've seen them sometimes having a birthday celebration, and you can see who's there just to eat, who's there just to take pictures or to post it on their Facebook, and who's really there as, a genuine, this is your moment, let me celebrate it with you kind of thing. Buy you a drink or something, whatever. I'm that person, I'll typically buy a drink or two, but baby, if it ain't never reciprocated, like I've got so-called friends who in all the years I've known them have never wished me happy birthday on my birthday. I don't even think they know when my birthday is. I don't. Do I consider them true blue friends? No. Did I start off being one to them? I was. But one thing about me, once I see that, oh, okay, this is that. Okay, well, this ain't that. Like that's easy enough for me. I don't know if that made sense to you, but if you know what I'm saying, uh-huh. One of the things too that I would say, and this is going to sound contradictory to what I was just saying, is that sometimes I think people on their journey to grow up, to level up, and to all the things up, I think sometimes they try their best to take those with them that don't belong. And it just gets to be a jumbled mess. And here's what I mean by that. I think as you start growing up and glowing up, as a lot of people are saying now, you start to find that some of the people you thought would really be there for the long haul, like I said, these friends of mine, you couldn't have told me we wouldn't be best friends forever. But as I started getting older, I kind of remember different phases in life where I started thinking, yeah, that friendship, I might be over it. It may be done. And I remember feeling so sad about it. And I called my father and I was telling him, he was like, yeah, that's just a natural progression in life. Very few people get to have a friend from childhood through life. Very few. My father was one of those people that had it. He had his friend, little George, and just a bunch of boys that he grew up with that ended up being his friends until the very end. I feel a way that I don't get to say that. Like I feel a little bit sad, and there's a part of me that wondered, is it me? And here's what I know about me. It is. It is absolutely me. I have had, I would say, multiple lifetimes in this one lifetime of mine. I've had lots of things from which I had to grow and understand and just, I guess, level up. I keep coming back to that term. Within myself. So yeah, when I had that conversation with myself this week, I said, yeah, it's you, girl. You've undergone a lot of changes. I grew up, just to give you a little background about me, I grew up in what everyone would basically call the hood. And when I did, or where I grew up from, we didn't talk so much the way that I talk now. You know, I've refined my speech in a lot of ways. Not just because I moved from the hood. Let me say it like this. So I grew up, my primary years were spent in the hood. Middle school, I ended up going to a suburban school. That school ain't suburban no more. But it was suburban at the time. So as I went to the suburban school, I would still try to invite my old hood friends to come hang out with me, to go and spend the night. Like if I'd spend the weekends at my father's, I'd want them to come over there. My father stayed in an apartment complex and they had a swimming pool and all of that. Side piece, that swimming pool is the first place where someone to my face called me the N-word. I'll never forget it. Do you still remember the time someone said it to your face? So some of my friends from my old neighborhood, I had invited because I had to prove I'm still down. Like I live in the suburb now, but I'm still down. I'm still cool, you know, whatever. So I invite them over to the pool party. Well, it wasn't a pool party. I invite them over to swim. They might have spent the weekend. I'm pretty sure they did. They spent the weekend with me at my father's house. We had a big old ball. I step out of the pool with the ball and I'm getting ready to throw it back into one of these friends, right? These are girls, by the way, that I grew up with. One in particular, I don't remember not knowing her. Like I've always known her all my life. And then another one was a newer girl who had moved into the neighborhood. They were closer in age, so they became closer friends. And it felt like I kind of lost my friend to the new person. Looking back, it just makes sense, you know. But at the time, I'm still inviting them. I'm trying to be down. I'm seeing that in actuality, they're closer to each other than they are to me, but they don't mind coming over to use me, to eat up some good food, to, all of that type of stuff. I think deep down, a part of me knew that, but at the same time, I had nothing else to do. I didn't really know the new suburban kids either. And honestly, I didn't identify with them yet anyway. So anyway, I'm outside the pool and I'm trying to decide to whom I'm going to throw the ball, right? To whom? Y'all heard that? I'm trying. But anyway, I'm trying to decide who I'm going to throw this ball to. And while I'm doing that, I don't realize that I am shadowing, or I'm casting a shadow on a woman who's sitting out suntanning. As mean as she could possibly do it, she screws up her unattractive face. I don't remember exactly what she looks like today, but I do remember she was not attractive. But she screws up her face and tells me, a little girl at the time, I'm probably about 11, might have seen 12 candles, but I don't think so. I'm about 11. Get out of my fucking son, you. We're stunned. Me and my two friends, we're stunned. It's like, did she really just say that? I look over at them, they're looking at me. And at the same time, we know what we gotta do. Beat her. So I turn and I'm getting ready to do something that I probably shouldn't do. And I hear another person yell out, "Oh my gosh, no, we'll call the police, we'll call the police." And that was enough to stop us. Let me finish going down the rabbit hole of this story, even though it's not the story I'm actually telling. So fast forward, I'll never forget, the apartments my father stayed in at the time were called Parliament Oaks here in Kansas City. So weeks pass by after this, and I see the lady again. My friends aren't with me now, but I see her, and I tell my father, "Hey, Daddy, remember that time when I told you that white lady had called me that N word? There she go right there." Who was she walking with? She was walking with a professional baseball player. I know exactly who it was, too. I'm just not going to say his name, but she's walking with a professional baseball player who also stays in the complex. And no, my daddy wasn't near rich. It's just that baseball players didn't make the money that they make now. That money wasn't slanging and going like that late 70s, early 80s type stuff. So I said, there she go right there. Not knowing my father knew that man, and I didn't even recognize that man at first either. They end up, my father tells the man what he said to me. I'm sorry, my father tells the man what she said to me, and the man was like, "Oh yeah, really? Okay." Because I guess the woman was just on some groupie time. And my father, I'm trying to remember how he said it, but he said it to me in a way that I felt like he thought I was too naive to understand it. But basically, I understood that they just ended up passing that woman around, using her, understanding that she was a groupie, a cleat chaser, and all of that. Two things I learned out of that. One, dang, people can really be that cruel to kids. And two, someone can be that much of an honest to goodness racist and still sleep with a black man to advance their life. Like that was appalling to me. Still is appalling to me. And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the NFL draft and I saw all of those athletes with all of those women who look nothing like them, I could not help but remember that woman yelling, "Get out of my son, you." And the venom, the hate, the pure hatred, you understand? The pure hatred with which that woman said it is still in me today. And to know that someone can say that type of thing with that type of hatred and still lay with black men, perhaps even have their babies, is scary. It's appalling. It's like, wow. But honestly, it can't be done without the cooperation of those athletes. I don't know. Funny thing is, they don't all fall for that okie doke. I've told you before, I've dated a professional athlete. I've never dated a professional baseball player. It was football. I don't mind telling you that. But the funny thing was, I shared that story with him because, you know, as you're dating, I'm all off topic. I'm all over the place. I started off talking about my friend and leveling up, and maybe I'll get back to that topic. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But anyway, do I want this big one? I always have trouble figuring out how I'm going to set my little short hair. Ooh, sorry, I had to burp. But anyway, I asked him, have you ever dated outside of your race? And he was like, nah, I never have. And he said, I'm pretty sure you have though. And I said, what gives you that impression? And I've shared with you before that I have. It's funny because when, I don't know, it depends on who you ask, I guess. It's so subjective. But if you ask me, I'd say, yeah, I've kind of dated outside of my race because I've dated men who were black and something, black and Italian, black and Hispanic, black and whatever. And he was like, no, that ain't outside your race. They still black. They still get treated as black people. And they did. They still looked like black people. They still identified as black people. But at the same time, they claimed their mother. In every case, it was a mother who was not black. But they still claimed their mother. So I was like, you know, I mean, if you ask me, I say, yes, I've dated outside of my race-ish, because I'm not mixed. I mean, we're all mixed with something, but you know what I mean? My mother, it's not a direct line to the mixedness. But anyway, he said that, we had that conversation, and I told him about how that woman was at the pool, right? And so he was like, I get that. He said, I've always kind of had my suspicions that deep down, that's probably how they really feel. But he said, I understand too why a lot of times athletes end up with white girls. And he said, it's not necessarily because that's who they're attracted to. He said, we have those conversations in the locker room, and now they attracted to hips, they attracted to lips, they attracted to all that. He said that's why a lot of times the white girls that they date end up getting all that stuff because, you know, they're trying to look more like what they're attracted to. He said, but there's two things happening. One, he said colorism is real, and a lot of times dudes are going for a certain shade. So if they can get a certain shade and the look that they want, boom, they got it. And he said the other thing is a lot of times when they go to those schools out in the sticks, black girls aren't there. Or if they're there for the same reason, an athletic scholarship. And a lot of them don't look as feminine as they would like them to look. I mean, how could they? They're athletes. They're going to snatch their hair back to a ponytail. You know, they ain't coming in with a bust down and going to practice and all that stuff looking like that. So, yeah, I mean, it just, he said those two things, between those two things, he said, I get it. That's why a lot of them date outside their race. He said, but I wasn't at a pool when I got called that, but I've been called that enough times in my life before I was an athlete that I remember and that I know and that I have that feeling. Interesting. Very interesting. Racism in America is, I don't know, people say, oh, I wish that all the kids would just be mixed. They're going to mix up the races enough that we're just not going to have that anymore. I wish you wouldn't take that. I don't see anything wrong with white kids being white and black kids being black, excuse me, and mixed kids being mixed. Like, I don't think the answer is to mix up all the races. I think the answer is to just stop accepting races. I think that's just the answer. It's a strange thing to say with this current administration. And can we take a minute to pause and say, what the heck is going on? Like, I don't know. There's so much craziness right now. I'm not going to get political, but there's so much craziness going on. Anytime I see a whole lot of different crazy things happening all at once, I get highly suspicious and I begin to wonder, okay, but what are you trying to veer us away from? What are you trying to distract us from? What's the real thing that's going on? And I still can't figure it out. But anyway, I'm just about done with my hair. And I didn't even talk about what I wanted to talk about, which was on your journey to leveling up, sometimes you end up losing some of the friends that you had because sometimes they don't see the journey you see. They don't have the interest that you have. And that's part of what happened to me when I moved into the suburbs, and I kept trying to take my friends from the hood, I will say, into my new suburban life. They didn't get it. They thought I was being bougie. You know, I was trying to elevate my speech. Instead of saying we be going somewhere, I wanted to just say we go somewhere. And they made a lot of fun of me. And I ended up losing those friends. Fast forward, I moved to the suburbs, only to find that those suburban kids wanted to be hood. I just came from the hood. It wasn't all that. It was not so great that, no. And so as I matured and leveled up, I found myself in the predicament of losing those friends to some degree as well. Because some of the hood stuff they would like to do, whether it was shoplifting, smoking weed, and all, I've never been someone who wanted to smoke weed. Weed smoking just never appealed to me. Let me tell you why. It looked nasty. That's it. I was trying to build it up to say something better about it. But the first time someone approached me about smoking weed, he had just, put it in the papers. He had rolled it up. And I guess he called himself trying to turn me on and get me to like him. Because he was, making all this, yeah. That's when the LL was out. He trying to lick his lips and do all the, I didn't see it. I didn't like it. But baby, when he must have put that weed in that paper, rolled it up, and got to and looking at me like, ooh, you won't, promise you, I ain't want none of that. That was before he even got to the part where he one end of it in his mouth. That right there, that's a joint you can keep to yourself. I don't want none of it. But yeah, I can honestly say I've never smoked a joint a day in my life. Call me a square, I don't care. I've been drinking now. I've been doing since I was young. I hold this up, ain't nothing in it but lemonade. And greasy, look at this glass. All my greasy hands done got all over. I promise this was really a clean glass. But yeah, I've been drinking since I was young. Never smoked weed. Found myself being a misfit in a couple of areas, but still fitting in. I've still got like genuine friends. I'm one of those people who I don't need. You'll never see me having a big birthday soiree. It's enough for my friends to call me and wish me a happy birthday. It's enough for my friends, to have good intentions. Next time we go to brunch, girl, I got you. I'm buying you a drink. I'm, whatever. I'm that person who does that until it's not reciprocated. Once it's not reciprocated, baby, I'm good. You can wait for that drink if you want to, but baby, you're going to be parched. You know what I'm saying? So, let me stop. I done already set my hair. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour. I don't know what's wrong with me. I fell asleep and woke up hungry. I'm talking about, okay, let me see. What do I feel like for breakfast? Breakfast? No, boo-boo. What breakfast? It's 12-something in the morning, at night, however you want to put it. It ain't lunchtime, let's just say that. So, yeah, it ain't breakfast time. I gotta figure out a snack or something that I want. I kind of feel like popcorn. I have not been on my Zoom as far as exercising, eating better. Well, I've been eating better, but I always eat fresh stuff. It'd be the other stuff I eat with the fresh stuff that got me having all this stuff. But I feel like a snack, and so I said I'll just have some popcorn, maybe even some wine. It ain't like I gotta go to work in the morning. Well, it's morning now. It ain't like I gotta go to work later. So, yeah, popcorn's not bad, but you know what would be more gooder is caramel popcorn. Why do I have a craving now for a caramel popcorn. I wonder if I got all the stuff for it still. If I got it, we making it. Okay, so like, what do you need? Brown sugar, got that. I got baking soda, corn syrup. Do I have peanuts? I hope I got peanuts. Got peanuts. Child, I need popcorn. Let's make sure we got popcorn in the house. I'm pretty sure I do. I always keep popcorn. Popcorn looking kind of low, but it'll be enough to do the trick. So, yeah, it look like we having some caramel popcorn tonight. You say caramel or caramel? We say caramel. The one thing I was missing is some vanilla extract. I poured in my last little bit of that. I've been putting all my stuff together for the caramel apple. Why didn't I just put this in the pot? Why in the world did I put that in the bowl? I'm tripping. Now I gotta scrape the bowl. But anyway, pop my popcorn. Next thing I need to do. Yeah, I don't know what my granddaughter seasoned popcorn with no butter and salt. I'll never know. But the one thing I like about homemade popcorn versus store-bought is the homemade has no kernels in it. I hate biting into caramel popcorn with kernels. No burned popcorn either, which is why I like to air pop it. I usually use a whole stick of butter, but it's only like 1 tablespoon missing from this. That ought to be enough. It's bad enough I'm eating at 12 something at night. Well, it's 1 o'clock in the morning now. Get this butter melted, add the other ingredients, and get to caramelizing. I'm gonna toss in just a little of this kosher salt, especially since my popcorn wasn't salted. And that's about ready to pour over. Forgot to get my peanuts ready. You know what? I'm just gonna dump all of it on there. And you gotta start moving it. Probably got more in the pan I can pour on. How's it gonna get it? I'm about to say that's fast, but it only heated up to 250 Kymberly. Let's keep cleaning. popcorn's ready now. It's crunchy and all that, as you can hear. A couple of clusters here and there, but most of it is single. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been snacking on my fruit. My fruit came out good. Let me show you. This is the strawberry I've been snacking on. Let's move it. And look at the fruit. And I think the only thing I did differently is I froze it on the top shelf. I can't even see the camera. But can y'all see how good that fruit looks? It is like perfection. Are you kidding? So all this time, all I needed to do was put it on the top shelf. I'm so happy about that. Let me put it back on the shelf. We'll let that one thaw, and I'll munch on it in a second. I forgot to tell y'all that my battery died when I was doing my hair. So that was why it stopped so abruptly. I didn't steam. No, and my clumsy self is not gonna put all this in here. We hope this isn't too loud. But anyway, yeah, my battery died. And all I was talking about was just how sometimes when you're trying to level up and you keep trying to bring people with you, they're not feeling it, they're not moving with you. And you just have to know to let them go. Sometimes, like in my lifetime, I struggle to figure out where exactly do I fit in. I'm no longer hood and don't want to be, for my suburban friends who are trying to be hoodie. But, you know, I'm not upper class and all that stuff either. I'm just me. And you'll find your tribe. My camera's clean, mind your business. I'm so freaking hungry. I don't know what's wrong with me. But you'll find your tribe. And I think anytime you have friends who don't appreciate the journey, no matter how much you try to bring them with you, no matter how much you try to prove, you know, I'm down, I'm still like you, I'm whatever. If they don't see it, they ain't gonna see it. And the only thing they can do is hinder your journey. You know? And that's just the truth of the matter. Quiet as it's kept, I think, and I haven't really had the conversation with myself yet, so we're having it together right now for the first time. I think a part of me didn't tell my friends for the most part, because I've only told a handful of people. I think a part of me that didn't tell my friends is because I'm used to people doubting me. I'm used to people trying to tell me, you know, you ain't really this, or you ain't really, you know, or feeling it myself that I'm not really a content creator. I'm not really, you know, a storyteller. I'm not really, like, what am I gonna get on here and talk about? But, you know, I thank goodness I found my tribe of people who relate to me. The 50+ club is blowing up, it seems. I mean, I'm not blowing up, but you know what I mean? Like, we're venturing into territories into which we wouldn't have ventured before. So, I say all that to say what? I don't know. Girl, I'm just talking. And I still do have my criticisms, let's be clear. Somebody told me I should never sit there and set my hair because the light overhead is very unflattering. It shows all my flaws. I show all my flaws. Let me get up under this light. I show all my flaws. I'm on here talking about my flaws, the lessons I've learned and things like that. I'm not on here trying to be pretty Pauline. You know what I mean? I'm just being me and I'm sharing it, and I hope that's enough. With that said, I think I'm gonna end here. If it is enough, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if anything resonated with you, and I'll catch you next time. Hopefully I won't be feeding my face like I'm doing it right now. But baby, this is good. I will say, I miss the extra vanilla taste. And I miss the dark Cairo syrup, I do. But it's still pretty good. I don't think I've ever made it with light before. If I haven't, I remember. Talk to y'all later. And we're not leaving the fruit out either. Bye, y'all.